Call Her Mommy, the MILF Manifesto, where motherhood is messy, MILFs are unhinged, and naps are a fantasy. Welcome to motherhood.
Hello, you guys. Welcome to Call Her Mommy, the MILF Manifesto. I'm your host, Courtney Zobri, and we are diving into another episode today talking about marriage after kids. Now, if you are a parent, you know that once you have children, your life changes for good. It just changes in all aspects, but your marriage changes. There is nobody that can tell me otherwise. I mean, you can try and tell me, but from my experience personally and just knowing all my friends that are married with kids, like marriage changes things, or changes after you have kids. So hear me out. Because it changes from everything, like the way you see your partner. And I'm talking positives and some negatives, like the way you see each other, the way you look at each other, the way you like silently hold those silent scorecards on like who did what today. It changes the intimacy. It literally changes everything. So let's just preface this that when Scotty and I got married, a month later we were pregnant. We were trying but not trying. So if like you know. So we really didn't get this like crazy honeymoon stage. Like we were married and a month later I was pregnant. And like for me, I've talked about this before, like being pregnant, like I had a lot of anxiety. I had a horrific first couple of months of my first pregnancy. Like it was really bad. And I think it was the mental aspect along with the physical aspect, the being at the first, not knowing everything, all of that. So I know that put a toll on our marriage. And every day I tell him like, I don't know what I would have done without you. Like, thank God that I like picked a great partner. But, like when you're first married, it's that honeymoon stage. Like you're in like so in love, you're newlyweds. It's like the romance, the sex, the everything. And not that we didn't have that, but like it was very short lived because bam, I'm freaking pregnant. I'm nauseous. I have migraines. I'm uncomfortable. I'm panicking. Any movement, I'm panicking. Like I wasn't myself. Like it changed me. And it like I think pregnancy like will also impact a marriage because the hormones, like you become somebody and you're like, I don't know why I'm yelling at you, or your breathing is bothering me. And like there would be times where I'd be like, I can't stand to be around you because your breathing is making me want to punch you in the throat. And it wasn't me, it wasn't him, it was the freaking hormones. And then post baby, you have this screaming newborn and you're not sleeping, you're tired, you want to have your spouse get up in the middle of the night and do the changes and the feedings and all of this, or like have that equal partnership. And at times like it's really hard to be equal. And I don't mean this like in any negative way, but like a lot of times, like if you're breastfeeding, it's harder, like especially like our first son, Cash, like did not want a bottle. Like he was like, F the bottle, give me the boobie. And it was very hard on me. Like at the like there were times he would take bottles, but for the most part, it was like, it was fully me. I was super sleep deprived. He was a terrible sleeper. He still freaking is. Sorry, you hear Carter in the background. Yeah, mama. But it just like completely changes things because you're keeping this silent scorecard on like what you've done and what your partner has done. Like, well, I changed this many diapers. I fed them for this many times. I was up this many times at night at like last night. And like, yes, you want them to know like, hey, I did all this. Can you help me out? And then there's the other piece where like we're still doing that. And it's like, it's not intentional. It's subconsciously where it's just like, because right now we have 2 kids. We're getting up in the middle of the night. If Cash is not sleeping through the night, I'm getting up and I'm feeding Carter. And it's just like this constant thing. And we don't intentionally mean to keep track of how many times this one got up and how many times this one did this or how many times this one did this. But it happens. And then you almost feel, at least from my perspective, and I know my husband's, there are times where not that we resent each other, but we're frustrated because it's just like we could use more help. Or, hey, I did all this and I need you to pull a little bit more weight. But at the end of the day, like, we always have to remember we are a team. Um, but it definitely changes the way your partnership is. So I'm going to kind of talk about like both positive ways it changes your marriage and negative, not like negative, but negative ways that kind of changes it, because the intimacy definitely changes. Like the first time you're going to have sex after you have a baby, you're like, it feels weird as fuck. Like, don't get me wrong, especially if you have a C-section. And like, no offense to the man in the relationship, but like, because they're like, hey, I've waited X amount of weeks for you to get cleared. Like, let's go. I'm ready. And the woman is like, listen here, motherfucker. I'm leaking from my boobs. I was cut open, or I just pushed a child out of my vagina. All these things, and you're like, I don't feel sexy. I still have a mom belly. I still have a pregnancy pooch. I still have my scar. I'm uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel sexy at all. Like, great that they still want to be with us. Cue all the hormones. But like, you don't want to be touched. You're like, okay, like, wake me up when it's over. Because like, your mind is so everywhere else. Is the baby crying? What's the baby doing? What's happening? And honestly, from my experience, all I want to do when the kids aren't on me is I want to chill. I want to watch something. I want to read a freaking book. I just want me time. I don't want to be touched or like being like getting the look across the room like kids are napping, and it's like, good, let me take a nap. You know what I mean? Not to say like there are times where I'm like, get over here. But like, there are times, especially newly postpartum, where you're like, don't even look at me. Don't breathe near me. Like, give me my space. Yeah. So marriage definitely changes like the intimacy game. But then there's the other piece where you see your partner as a mom or a dad, and it's very attractive because you see them in this new light, caring for and loving this child that you both created. So that is such like a loving, endearing, also intimate, like turn on for most people. Which is so, so nice and grateful to see. So that's kind of like the intimacy part, but like, you're sleeping, you're waking up, you almost become like roommates at times, because like the intimacy at times goes away. And it's not that it's anybody's fault. Like, there's been times, and I've tried to tell this to my husband so many times, and like my guy friends, it's just like, it's not like you, and it's not that she's not attracted to you or that she doesn't love you. It's that she doesn't know who the hell she is right now. She's got hormones coursing through her body. If she's breastfeeding, like, oh my God. She's probably leaking fluids. She's uncomfortable. If you don't bounce back, quote unquote, from postpartum, like, you just don't feel comfortable in your body or your skin. It takes time. And I don't think that men fully understand that. Like, yes, they possibly understand a piece of it, but the fact that like, they don't physically go what we go through. Yes, they go through their own physical stuff, their mental stuff, but it's different for us because our hormones physically change. Our bodies physically change. Organs are moved out of the way as the baby grows, and then it takes time for those organs to come back. If you have a C-section, you are cut through 7 layers of your body, and then they like remove stuff, they put it back in, everything. So you just don't feel like yourself. And I don't think they fully understand that or get it, in the fact that it's just like, it's not you, it's not like me, it's what I've been through. And I try and tell my husband that all the time. Like, I still love you. I'm still attracted to you, but I am beyond exhausted. Like, there's nothing more exhausting than being a postpartum female, with more than one kid. Like, it is wild. Especially if you're a full-time working mom, like myself, I'm beyond exhausted, but I try and keep it up because I want to make sure my husband feels happy and he feels loved and taken care of. I want to make sure my boys know that they feel loved and taken care of and that mommy's on. I want my dog to feel loved and pampered and taken care of. And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, everybody's been taken care of but me, because I don't want to cause any issues, or I just don't want to have a fight, or it's just I'm burning everything at all ends except for myself. So that's where the self-care comes in for you. And your spouse should be able to be supportive in that. Like, hey, this is going to help me in all aspects. Be a better wife, a partner, a mom, a person, a woman, as myself, all the things. So I think like as we go through motherhood and postpartum and all the things, it's just marriage changes, and that's okay. And I want people to know that every marriage is unique and it's different and it's your own, and you should never compare. Like, you should never compare yourself or your relationship to anybody else's, because you are your own person and your partner's your own person, and together you have a special bond. Like, I have friends that are married that have their marriages are completely different than mine. Yeah, they might overlap in some areas, but like they're their own. They have their relationships and I have mine. And yeah, like us moms, and I'm sure the dads will talk about like, oh, X, Y, and Z, or like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, I know the moms and I'll talk at times about like, hey, what did this feel like when you had sex for the first time after a baby? Or how did you feel like when you were burning like all your candles at all ends, but like not taking care of yourself, and then the rage started and you were fighting? Or have you felt like a roommate to your husband rather than a husband and wife dynamic duo? But like, you should never compare, because people use the bounce back phrase all the time, and I'll probably use it loosely here. But like, I have like friends that have had babies all within like 6 months. We've all had babies within 6 months of each other. We all had different deliveries. We all had different experiences. We are all different body types, ages, everything. And I know we all compare ourselves at different times to each other. Like, oh, this one looks like this, or this one's getting this or doing this. And we shouldn't, because we just carried a child for 9 or 10 months. We birthed that child. We are feeding it. We're taking care of it, possibly more than one kid. And we have to remember at the end of the day, like, it's just us. It's us, our families, our partners. And yeah, it's just, don't compare. Like, just, if you feel yourself comparing it, let the thought fester and then move it along. Just like bless and release those thoughts, because it's only going to make you feel worse, especially if you are somebody who's looking at somebody else that's maybe back to their pre-pregnancy body or weight, and you might not be. That's okay. Like, your body is not their body. Your mind is not their mind, because maybe they're struggling with other things that you might not be aware of. So just take the time, enjoy your postpartum, and all of that. But back to like the marriage piece, like, talk to your partner, tell them how you're feeling, explain what you're feeling and what you're going through. Like, have the conversations. They are going to be hard. You might not like what your partner has to hear, or what your partner has to say, and they might not like what you have to say, but you have to listen, because that's the only way you're going to get through the trenches of this roommate phase or the lack of intimacy phase or things like that. Because what many people don't know is like, your libido, like your sex drive is so decreased when you are postpartum. And a lot of times people, like, for example, my second pregnancy that I had, my pre-pregnancy body is better this time around than the first time, but I've been chasing a toddler and I was prioritizing self-care and working out. And I was just doing more. Like, it was just like, okay, I've already been down this road. I know what to expect. And I think at times my husband might look at me, and now I'm just assuming here. So we all know what they say about assuming. But I think maybe at times he looks at me and is like, well, she's like working out more, or she's like in her like pre-pregnancy clothes, or she's kind of like her mood seems more stabilized, or she doesn't seem as weepy or depressed or whatever. And it's like, well, then why doesn't she want me? Or why are we not as intimate as we once were? It's not you, dude. Like, it is not you. I'm still finding myself. I'm doing all those things to make myself feel better. So I feel better on the inside and on the outside. So even though you are like, damn, you look good, girl. Like, my wife looks great. She might not feel it, or she still needs that extra attention, or that a different kind of intimacy is what I'll say. Like, it's not always just about sex. Women need different types of intimacy at different times of their life and different seasons. So for me, like right now, I just want to like be able to like communicate and snuggle up and just like relax cuz I'm exhausted. I don't want to be rolling around in the sheets. Like, I want to go the fuck to bed. Like, put me in the sheets and tuck me in and say goodnight. But like, I think they just have to understand that our libido is just dropped because you're postpartum. Now, not to say that at times like it should be back or it should be increasing again. And if it's not, then that's when you like maybe should do a hormone panel or talk to your doctor and things like that. Just to make sure that you are okay and you're bouncing back, because stuff can happen postpartum and you don't even know. But like, just know that if you are in the roommate phase, or you are not having sex with your partner, or you are just at times wanting to kill them rather than kiss them, you're not alone. Trust me on that. We are all in this together. Marriage after kids is a wild freaking journey and a ride, and it's a journey and a season, and it's an experience, but it will pass. The kids will grow up. Hopefully they'll sleep again. Hopefully you'll sleep again. Hopefully you'll have time where you're not with your kids 24/7, or you can get out and have time with your partner and reconnect to the people that you once were post or pre-children, or, you know, going back to that dating phase. Like, take your wife out on a date and don't expect anything at the end. Expect a good night kiss and maybe like a hug or a snuggle on the couch. Like, I think if we changed our mindsets to that, things would be more willing, because I'm not going to lie. There are times when my husband, I know he wants to like full on intimacy, and I'm just like, I don't want this, but like I feel guilty, or I feel like I need to do something. But we just have to know we're not alone. And it will not last forever. It's just the season that we're in. And I think for me, and I'm just speaking for myself personally, I had back-to-back pregnancies. Like, you have to remember, like, your body doesn't fully recover for a couple of years. Your hormones don't regulate for a couple of years, especially if you're breastfeeding. I breastfed my firstborn until he was 13, 14 months old. And yes, he was supplementing at times. Like, I was breastfeeding, but then he was like on foods and stuff. But only reason I stopped is because I got pregnant and my milk supply dropped and I couldn't keep up. So with that, like, you're not yourself, and being back-to-back pregnancies, like, I haven't really been my, like, I don't want to say my true self, because like, I've grown up, I've changed, you know, motherhood changes you, but like, you know what I mean? Trying to think how to word this. Being yourself, or being like who you were post or pre-pregnancy. Not that you're ever going to be that exact version of yourself, but like that a version of that. Because I was pregnant back to back. Like, my hormones were, you know, regulating. I had a 1-year-old, and then bam, I got pregnant again. So yeah, it's just been a wild ride, and I just hope that spouses and partners truly understand that it's not that there's a lack of love or attraction or anything on like their part or their partner's part. It's just more that it's postpartum. Like, you are in the trenches, you are exhausted, you're both exhausted. But like moms are freaking like there is no exhaustion like a mom. A breastfeeding, working, full-time mom with more than one child. There is no type of exhaustion like that. And we learn to live with it. But just know you're not alone. And I am here for it. But I would love to hear your stories on anything funny, anything relatable that you think would be, whatever. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear the stories about things with you and your partner, whether you want to kill your partner, any like funny roommate stories that you might have with your spouse, or just like, when they want something and you're like, stay the hell away from me. But let me know what you thought of this episode. If you think anybody can relate or would benefit from this, please like, subscribe, and share. It would mean the world to me. But I will see you next time on Call Her Mommy, the MILF Manifesto. Later.